bike review. How's it going, everybody? Today, thought I might make a video giving my first impressions / review of this GT Avalanche that I got from Dick's Sporting Goods. Main reason I wanted to make the video was when I was doing research to try to find what I wanted for a mountain bike, like what I could get for what I was willing to pay, because this bike right here cost me with tax about $911, which for my first mountain bike probably way too expensive, but I wanted something that I could upgrade in the future and I could grow into. This is the GT Avalanche 1x with the 29-inch wheels. So it's their large frame size. Now on Dick's website, they do say that it's like normally like $100, like not 100, like $1,150 or something like that. And their sale price, or what was cut down to, was $850. So you get, according to them, about at least a couple to a few $100s off. But overall, the bike's been good so far. I've had it for about a couple of weeks, taking it on a few rides. Where I'm at right now, there's a couple little trails. I'll probably insert some footage of me going down a hill or something. And then as I go through the bike, I'll insert some photos and other clips of it while I'm talking. I guess I'll start tip to butt, going front to back. You got 29-inch wheels up front with these Ranger tires. Don't know the width, but they are 29ers. Tires, at least on these bikes, the GTs that come with these tires, they're usually about the first thing that go if someone were to upgrade the bike, next to like the forks or something like that. But I mean, for $900 for a mountain bike, which this is technically like an XE bike or like a cross country trail bike, so it'd be good for like single track and other just like regular riding, nothing like downhill, which I'll probably do with this bike at some point. But it's a good all-around bike, I'd say. But if you're looking for a bike to do downhill specific, or say single track specific, you'd be looking at two different bikes. This bike's probably decent, more well-rounded. The frame size is more suited for someone who's going to be riding it more long-term, compared to someone who's going to be downhill, standing up most of the time, and is going to be leaning down more than maybe leaning back to go up a hill. You got these bars, just have a little bit of a rise on them. I think it says like 12 millimeter. Car back there. 12 millimeter rise on the bars. Don't know how accurate that is. Maybe like 10 or something. They're okay bars. I did replace the stem with the shorter stem. Got it off Amazon, just because I wanted my riding position to be as close to me as I could get it. Because the factory stem, which I'll put a picture in here, is a little longer, holds the bars out farther, more along the lines of a cross-country bike or something like that. God damn, the crap was loud. I did, in result of getting a new stem, the new stem is a little shorter where it attaches to the steering post. So I did have to get spacers, which I get some spacers off Amazon, one day ship them here, and got some carbon fiber spacers, which they look nice. And then right now I'm still working at breaking it in and making sure I get the forks tightened down with the top cap to my liking, make sure it's not loose and shit. I had to tighten it down after my ride yesterday because it got a little loose on me, which I think it should break in and should get it down to where it's good to ride eventually. The forks are alright. They say they have 100 millimeters of travel, which if you're doing, say you take it on a single track or a more technical section that goes downhill, depending on how stiff you set them, because they are, I think they're coil forks, not air suspension. So it's possible you can bottom out if you hit it hard enough. I haven't hit anything hard enough to bottom it out yet. I also haven't taken it on a hard ride. Does have a tapered front here. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of that part, but it's tapered so it'd be more readily available for other aftermarket forks in the future, which is another reason why the frame is probably the best part about this bike. It's an aluminum frame, and it's got GT's signature triple triangle design, which is something involving the seat post, and like the seat stays are welded in front of the seat post. I don't know exactly what that does in terms of like efficiency and functionality, but so far it's comfortable. Me personally, I'm used to my old bike that I always rode on. My old neighborhood was always just a crappy Diamondback BMX. So I always had the seat as low as it would go. I was always standing up riding. So sitting down and riding is more of a new thing to me. Personally, I wish the seat could go lower, but there's these welded threaded inserts for a water bottle holder, and the seat goes as low as those are. It won't go any lower because it hits those. But the seats, the height it's at right now is for me to sit down and ride is perfectly comfortable. If I am standing up though and I want to get my ass over the rear wheel, say I'm like, if you're going to drop off something or trying to get the front end up and you want to throw all your weight back, at least for me, my ass does hit the seat. Now moving the crank to the pedals. Pedals are all right. I have no complaints with them. They got plastic studs on them, so they kind of grip into your shoes. I usually ride with Vans on, so they're flat, and then Vans have like the checkered on the bottom, so the pegs sometimes, the pins sometimes go in the shoes. It helps with grip. Cranks are fine. Nothing to say about those. Seat's okay. Nothing special. I did try to loosen the seat so I could maybe angle it forward or back a little bit, but those screws are so cranked. Like I don't know if they welded them on or puts like a hell of a lot of thread lock on them. But at least for this bike in particular, seat's completely unadjustable other than the height. And then moving to the rear, I'll get to the brakes in a second. We have a 10-speed cassette, which is nice. There's a pretty steep hill on this little piece of trail that I like to ride, and going up it's a piece of cake. It's a little bit of a workout, but it's a piece of cake if you put it in first gear and just crank it. I started out pretty bad yesterday on it, got up, and then lost all my momentum, I had to start again. Tried to go in first gear and I popped it up in a wheelie and almost went over it. And then since it is a one bike, it does only have the one sprocket in front, which I prefer for looks. It just looks better, less clutter up in the handlebar area. So don't have as much shit going on, as many cables running to the back. And then it does shift gears pretty well. Going down in gears, like going up to the larger gears, it's smoother than going down just because you're having the chain climb up instead of drop down gears. And then got another 29-inch wheel in the back, of course, same tire, which so far they're fine. I haven't had any problems with them with grip. I'll probably get there in time if see any problems with them. But a lot of people swap them out for nubbier tires or with ones that go over the edge more, right, for taking corners. They do seem like they're tubeless wheels, just by the stem there for filling up the tires there. So I haven't obviously had to replace these tires yet, so it's a brand new bike. I haven't read too much into it, like gone through the manual, went through it a bit, learned how to set it up, because in the box it comes with the rear wheel on and the frame and the forks. The front wheel are in the box just removed, so with the handlebars and the stem and the seat. So it was my first time actually like assembling a bike. So it was an interesting process learning how to do that, just considering I had no idea what a top cap did in terms of holding the forks to the frame securely. Brakes, they are disc brakes, front and rear, they're hydraulic, and they take mineral oil. And so far they're pretty good. Haven't any problems with them. Out of the box, the front wheel has a little bit of wobble in it. I don't have a spoke wrench to tighten them up, but it's nothing like that would impair riding or injure somebody. It's just when you're riding, you can see the tiniest bit of just side to side. And then I think because of that, probably for the same reason as the wheel, the front brake rubs a little bit on the pads, which you get used to after riding. At least I do a little bit, but it doesn't affect the riding at all. It's just an annoying sound. And you're also supposed to bed in brakes when you get them new. I have no idea if I've done that, so I should probably try. But that's about it for just going over all the basics of the bike. One more thing before I get to any clips of riding. One thing I do like about this bike that I've never had on a bike before, other than everything, is it has, I don't know what the proper term is. I'm gonna call them quick disconnect wheels. So they have this little lever here on front and rear. Pull that lever up, hold it on the other side, unscrew it, and then it releases tension and pressure from the post, and the wheel just comes out, at least on the front. With the rear, you'd have to take the chain off and release the tensioner, but I find that to be awesome, especially for transport. You can take a front wheel off and throw the handlebar sideways and get it in your trunk a lot easier, and if you have to, the rear wheel too. One more thing, it does have a rear derailleur that is separate from the frame. I don't know too much about those. I just know that having one is good. That's not like welded onto the frame. So the main reason that I wanted to make this video was because when I was doing research on this bike, because first of all, me being new to the mountain bike scene, I don't know where to get mountain bikes. So I was just looking up any outlet store that I could get one at that wasn't over $2,000. And I found this one at Dick's. It looked nice. It was a little expensive, but I thought I thought I could afford it. And so far I'm having a fun time riding it. This video is for anyone that's looking for information on this bike. Just because I had a hard time finding information for the Avalanches in general. I kept finding videos on their GT Aggressor, which is like their $400 model, but I was having a hell of a time finding information on the Avalanche, especially the 1x in particular, because they have a 3x something, which is like a 20 something speed instead of 10 speed. But I'll go ahead and throw in some riding footage here. Other than that, that's it for the commentary. Enjoy some clips.
I just want to fly.
deer just scared the absolute shit out of me. And I doubt I even got it on camera. Oh. There's another ring.